when she looked me straight in the eye and said, "I'm not moving to some boring small town for your job," I didn't argue. I just nodded and said, "I understand." What she didn't realize then was that I really meant it. I understood perfectly. I understood that she just told me everything I needed to know about our future. My name's Lucas Carter, 32, senior software architect at a tech firm that's been growing faster than anyone expected. I'd been with Emily Rhodes for 5 years. Engaged for one. We lived in Chicago, downtown, with a skyline view, the fancy apartment, the kind of lifestyle people our age brag about on social media. She worked as an interior designer, always buried in Pinterest boards and color palettes. I was a quiet tech guy, good salary, predictable habits, happy to let her world spin faster than mine. Life was comfortable, maybe too comfortable. We had a rhythm. Brunch on Sundays, rooftop bars on Fridays, overpriced wine and small arguments about which Netflix show would start next. Nothing about us screamed instability. If anything, I thought we were solid. Then came the promotion. It was early March when my director called me into a meeting and shut the door behind him. He told me the company was expanding, a brand new R&D division, fresh funding, greenfield development. They needed someone to head the engineering side, someone who could build it from scratch, someone they trusted. The only catch? The new division was being set up in Milford, a small town about 3 hours north. Population barely 30,000. No skyscrapers, no Michelin-starred restaurants, no skyline views. But the offer? $500,000 base. Up to another 150 in bonuses. Equity options that could turn into millions, and a full relocation package. The kind of life-changing opportunity that turns heads in any industry. I remember sitting there, pretending to play it cool, but my pulse was in my ears. This was it. The chance to finally do something big, to lead instead of follow, to build something that would actually bear my name. I drove home with my heart racing. I couldn't wait to tell Emily. I imagined her jumping up, hugging me, maybe tearing up the way she did when I proposed. She always said she wanted to be with someone ambitious. I figured this was my moment to prove it. When I got home, she was on the couch, scrolling through design blogs, glass of rose beside her. "Babe," I said, smiling, "I got offered an incredible promotion today." She looked up, interested for half a second. "That's great. When do you start?" "Well, there's something we need to talk about first." Her brow furrowed. "What's that?" "It's in Milford." "Where?" "Milford. Small town, about 3 hours north." She laughed. Actually laughed like I just told a joke. "You're joking, right?" "No. It's a really good opportunity. They want me to head the entire R&D division. Full leadership." Her laughter faded. "Lucas, I'm not moving to some boring small town for your job. My career is here. My clients are here. My life is here." I blinked. "You could rebuild your client base. Interior designers work everywhere, Em. In a town of 30,000? What would I even design barns?" she snapped. "That's not fair. What's not fair is you even considering dragging me to the middle of nowhere. We have a life here. Our friends are here. The restaurants, the culture, everything that makes living worth it. The salary is..." "I don't care about the salary. Money isn't everything, Lucas. Quality of life matters. Financial security is part quality of life." Her voice sharpened. "If you love me, you wouldn't even consider this." My answer is no. Absolutely not. I just sat there, staring at her. The woman I was supposed to marry. The woman I thought I'd build a life with. She didn't even ask what the offer was. Didn't ask what it meant for us, for our future. Just a hard, instant no. I took a slow breath. "I understand." "Good," she said, standing up. "Now, could we please drop this?" But I didn't drop it. I couldn't, because something inside me broke that night, not from anger, but from clarity. For the first time, I realized that the person sitting across from me didn't actually see us as a team. She saw herself, and I was just an accessory in her picture. Over the next 2 weeks, I did my homework. I researched Milford. It wasn't the wasteland she imagined. It had a charming downtown with local cafes, a farmer's market, great schools, beautiful parks, even a growing tech community. The cost of living was half what we paid in the city. A house that would cost $2 million here was barely $400,000 there. It wasn't a downgrade. It was an opportunity to breathe. Every time I tried to bring it up again, Emily would shut it down. "We already decided," she'd say. "Stop trying to convince me to ruin my life." She wouldn't even look at the pictures I found of Milford, wouldn't hear the numbers. It wasn't up for discussion, and her friends made it worse. At dinner one night, she told them about my offer, conveniently leaving out the salary. Her best friend, Natalie, laughed. "Can you imagine Emily in a small town? She'd die of boredom in a week." Another friend, Jessica, added, "Lucas is being selfish, expecting you to give up everything for his career. Toxic masculinity much." I put my fork down. "I'm sitting right here." Jessica shrugged. "Well, it's true. Expecting a woman to follow a man anywhere is archaic. So expecting a man to turn down a life-changing opportunity is fine?" I asked, "It's not life-changing if it ruins your life." Emily said, kissing my cheek like I was some naive child. That was the moment I decided, if she couldn't even respect what this meant, she didn't deserve to be part of it. I called my boss the next morning and accepted the offer. The company gave me 6 weeks to transition and relocate. I started quietly preparing. Opened a separate account for my relocation bonus and salary increase. Researched houses. Signed paperwork. I was moving, and she didn't have a clue. For 3 weeks, I went through the motions at home. Same dinners, same conversations, same meaningless nights. Only now, everything felt hollow. She noticed my distance eventually. "What's wrong with you lately?" she asked one night over dinner. "Just work stuff." Well, stop moping. It's annoying. That sealed it. Whatever we had left wasn't partnership. It was convenience. 2 weeks before my move date, I finally told her, "Emily, we need to talk." She rolled her eyes. "If this is about that small town thing again." I accepted the job. "I'm moving to Milford in 2 weeks. She blinked, then laughed nervously. "Very funny. I'm serious. I've already found a place to rent. Movers come Monday." The color drained from her face. You can't be serious." "I am. We're engaged. And you made it clear your life here is more important than our future together." "That's not what I said. You said you wouldn't move for my job. Any job. And you meant it. You're throwing away 5 years for money? It's not about money. It's about respect. If you leave, we're done." "I know," I said quietly. "You chose your lifestyle. I'm just accepting that choice." She stood there shaking, voice breaking. "You're choosing a job over me." "No, Emily, you chose before I did." That night, I packed my things while she cried in the other room. She didn't try to stop me, just slammed doors and muttered things about me being a selfish bastard. The next morning, she was gone, stayed at Natalie's. I didn't see her again until the day I left. Moving day came fast. She didn't show up, didn't text, didn't call, just a silence. I handed over our apartment keys to the landlord, loaded the last of my boxes into the truck, and started the 3-hour drive north. And for the first time in weeks, I felt peace. Milford wasn't big, but it was beautiful. Wide open skies, clean air, people who actually smiled when you passed them on the street. My rental house was a 3-bedroom craftsman with a yard, something we could have never dreamed of affording in Chicago. My new office was state-of-the-art, filled with some of the brightest engineers I'd ever met. They looked at me like I belonged there, like I'd earned my spot. And for the first time, I actually believed I had. The first morning in Milford, I woke up to sunlight instead of traffic noise. No honking, no city buzz, just quiet. It was strange, almost unsettling, but good. I stood on the porch with my coffee. Looking out at the street, 2 kids were riding bikes. A man waved while walking his dog. The air smelled like pine and fresh grass instead of exhaust. For the first time in years, I felt free. Work started strong. My team was ambitious, motivated, hungry. The company had poured millions into the facility, And my role wasn't just management. I was building something new, something that would define the company's next decade. The challenge was intense, but it made me feel alive again. Meanwhile, back in Chicago, Emily went through her own storm. I didn't hear it firsthand, of course. She had blocked me on everything except email. Needed that for logistics like closing out our lease. But word travels. We had mutual friends, people from work, old college buddies. Slowly, the stories trickled back. At first, she was angry, furious, told everyone I'd abandoned her for money, called me a narcissist on Instagram without naming me directly, posted stories about men who only care about themselves. The usual dramatic stuff. Her friends backed her up, at least for a while. Then came the bargaining. 2 weeks after I'd settled in, she sent me a short email. What if you commute? It's only 3 hours. You can come home on weekends. I read it twice and just shook my head. I didn't reply. 3 days later, another one. Okay, what if I visit you every other weekend? We can make it work long distance. I stared at the screen for a while before replying. Emily, you told me if I left, we were done. You made that clear. I'm respecting that. She responded within minutes. I was emotional. I didn't mean it. I panicked. You didn't panic. I wrote back. You made a choice. You just don't like the outcome. That was the last time I responded to her directly. Work consumed me after that. I spent 12-hour days setting up systems, recruiting local talent, refining product prototypes. My team respected me, and more than that, they liked me. After 5 years of being just another cog in the corporate machine, I was finally steering the ship. 3 months in, things were going better than I'd imagined. The company was thrilled with our progress. I got my first quarterly bonus, $40,000, wired directly into my account. I bought furniture, decorated the house myself. It was simple, minimal, peaceful. Then the messages started again, not from Emily this time, but from her orbit. First, Jessica. Hey, Lucas. Hope you're doing well. Random question. Emily said you took some job out of town. She's been acting weird about it. Everything okay? I didn't respond. A few days later, Natalie chimed in. Hey, Lucas. Look, Emily's been struggling. Maybe you two should talk. She's realizing a lot now. Also ignored. Then one day, an email popped up from someone I hadn't expected. Margaret, Emily's mom. Hi, Lucas. I don't really understand what happened between you two. Emily said you chose your career over her, which doesn't sound like you. I hope you're doing okay. You were always good to her, and I just want you to know we wish you the best. Margaret. I sat there for a long moment before replying. Hi, Margaret. I appreciate your message. Emily made it clear she wouldn't even consider relocating from my career. I respected her choice, and I made mine. I hope she's well. Lucas. She replied the next day. She didn't tell us it was a promotion. She said it was a lateral move to some small town. I had no idea. That made me laugh quietly. It figured. Emily couldn't stand the idea that I might have made the right decision, so she twisted the story to make herself the victim. Typical. A few weeks later, everything changed. Our division launched our first major product, a software platform that would redefine our industry. The company held a launch party, complete with press coverage, photos, and champagne. I took one picture with my team. Me in a suit, smiling, captioned, "Proud to lead this incredible engineering division as we launch Project Phoenix." I posted it on LinkedIn. Just a professional post. Nothing personal. Within hours, it blew up. Hundreds of likes, dozens of comments. Old colleagues congratulating me. Recruiters messaging me. And then the email started again. The first was from Emily. Division head? When were you going to tell me you were a division head? I didn't reply. 2 hours later. Lucas, please. I just saw the company site. It says your salary range. Is that real? Please tell me this isn't true. Still nothing from me. Then came the flood. Long, emotional paragraphs. I looked up the house you bought. It's beautiful. Jessica drove through Milford last week. She said it's actually really nice. I made a mistake. Please talk to me. I love you. I'm sorry. We can work this out. Then Natalie again. Lucas. She finally told us what the job really was. She wasn't honest before. We owe you an apology. Division head? That's incredible. You really made it, huh? Even some of Emily's old co-workers reached out, congratulating me and subtly apologizing for believing her version of events. But the best message came from Tom, her dad, a quiet guy who ran a construction company and barely spoke when we used to visit. Lucas, my wife told me what happened. I run a small business myself, so I get it. You made the right call. Don't look back. Tom, P.S. She doesn't know I'm writing this. And she doesn't know I know about the promotion. But I'll say it. We're disappointed in how she handled it. That one hit deep. Not because I needed validation, but because it proved I wasn't crazy. I hadn't been selfish. I just refused to keep living small for someone who couldn't see beyond her comfort zone. A month later, Emily escalated. She called my mom. I was on a video call with my team when my phone buzzed, Mom. I answered after meeting. Lucas, honey, I just got off the phone with Emily, she said. She's crying. Says she made a terrible mistake. She did. I said flatly. She says she wants to talk. There's nothing to talk about. She says she still loves you. She loved the life we had. Mom, not me. There's a difference. Well, maybe people make mistakes. She didn't make a mistake. She made a decision. Now she regrets the outcome. My mom hesitated. Lucas, she said she didn't know how much you were making now. I sighed. I'm making around $600 total, including bonuses. Silence. Then a quiet, oh my. Yeah, she didn't ask. Said money didn't matter. Well, I always thought she was a bit materialistic, Mom muttered. I chuckled. Now you tell me. 2 weeks later, Emily decided to go nuclear. She showed up in Milford. I was at my favorite coffee shop, small, quiet, run by a couple who treated everyone like family. I was halfway through a cappuccino when someone said my name. Lucas. I turned, and there she was. Emily. She looked different. Jeans instead of designer slacks. A soft sweater instead of a statement coat. Her hair was tied back, like she was trying to look low maintenance. She even wore sneakers. For a second, I barely recognized her. Emily, I said, setting my cup down slowly. What are you doing here? I had to see you. Your neighbor told me you come here on Saturdays. You talked to my neighbors? I had to. You wouldn't answer my emails. Because we have nothing to discuss. We have everything to discuss. She sat down without asking. Lucas, I love you. I made a mistake. You didn't make a mistake. I said evenly. You made a decision. You said moving here would ruin your life. Your words. I didn't know. Didn't know what? How much I'd make. What the town was like. She flinched. That's not fair. It's the truth. You didn't know because you didn't care to ask. You just assumed you were right. Tears welled up. Real ones this time. Please. I see it now. The house, your success, this place that's beautiful. We could have an amazing life here. I am having an amazing life here. Without you, let me fix it. I'll move here. I can build a business. There's opportunity here. I've researched it. I raised an eyebrow. You researched it now? After finding out how much I make. It's not about the money. Really? 2 weeks ago, you posted on Instagram about small-town people with small-town minds. You were talking about Milford, weren't you? Her face went pale. You saw that. Natalie sent it to me. She thought I should know. I was bitter. No, you were honest. You think you're better than people here. You'd be miserable, and you'd make me miserable again. I've changed, she whispered. No, Emily, your circumstances changed. You found out what you gave up, and now you want it back. But you don't want me. You want the life my success can give you. She started crying again, head in her hands. People nearby were pretending not to watch. I stood up. Goodbye, Emily. Please, Lucas. Good luck in the city, I said, and walked out. That should have been the end of it. But with Emily, there's never an end. There's only escalation. The days after that cafe scene were oddly quiet. Too quiet. I half expected Emily to show up at my house or start spamming my phone again. But nothing. Just silence. For a while, I let myself believe it was over. That maybe she'd finally accepted it was done. Then, one Monday morning, I got an email from HR. "Hi, Lucas. We received an inquiry from a woman named Emily Carter claiming to be your spouse. She asked for verification of your salary for a joint mortgage application. Please confirm whether we're authorized to disclose any information. HR department." My jaw clenched. We were never married. And even if we had been, I'd never authorized that. I replied immediately, "We are not married. Do not release any information. Please escalate to legal if she persists." Within an hour, HR forwarded her message thread. She'd used my old work photo and claimed we were separated, but still legally bound financially. It was bold, even for her. That's when I realized she wasn't just trying to get my attention anymore. She wanted leverage. I called my lawyer, Mark, the same guy who handled my relocation contract. "Hey, Mark, hypothetical question. What happens if someone pretends to be your spouse to access your income info?" He laughed dryly. "Not that hypothetical, huh?" "Yeah, she tried it with my company." "That's identity fraud. Lucas, if she pushes further, we can make it official. You want me to send a cease and desist?" "Yes," I said. "Make it sound formal. Use the words criminal misrepresentation somewhere in there." He chuckled. "Gladly." 2 days later, Emily received a letter. I know because she emailed me within hours. "How dare you threaten me legally? I just wanted to see where we stand. I didn't mean to impersonate anyone. You literally claimed to be my wife." I replied, "It was a technicality. I thought it might help with the paperwork." "For what paperwork?" "I'm trying to refinance my condo. I needed income verification." "So you use my name?" "It's not like you're suffering. You have plenty of money now." "Emily, that's fraud. Don't contact my company again." She didn't reply after that, but she didn't disappear either. The next blow came through social media. It started subtle, vague posts. Funny how some men preach loyalty until money changes them. Small-town success doesn't erase emotional cowardice. If you ever loved someone who became a stranger overnight, you know my pain. Then came the comments from mutuals. "You deserve better. Men can be so cold. He'll regret it." I didn't engage. Not once. But screenshots made their way to me anyway. The thing about small towns, oh? Gossip dies fast when people see who you really are. In Milford, everyone knew me as the quiet guy who worked hard, helped at the local food drive, tipped well, and treated people with respect. Her words didn't stick. If anything, they made her look unhinged. Then she tried a different angle. I got a call from Jessica one evening. I almost didn't pick up, but curiosity won. "Hey, Lucas," she said carefully. "What now?" I just wanted to say, "I'm sorry for everything before. That's new. What brought this on?" "Well, Emily's kind of losing it. She's been telling people you cheated on her before the move." I sighed. "Of course she has." "Yeah, but she told her boss that. And, it backfired." "How?" "She was up for a promotion, but HR checked your background when she used you as a reference. Turns out your company flagged her for the fake spouse claim. They didn't like that." I froze. "Wait." "They reached out to my HR." "Yeah, apparently. She mentioned your name on an application. They did a routine check. And they found the letter Mark sent." "Exactly. She's been crying all week. I probably shouldn't tell you this, but she might lose her job." I didn't celebrate, but I won't lie. There was a certain poetic symmetry to it. She tried to weaponize my career. It ended up taking down hers. Still, I didn't feel done. Not yet. She dragged my name through mud, tried to use me for money, and twisted every truth to make herself look like the victim. I wanted closure, but not the kind you post about. The kind that hits quietly, when the other person realizes they've lost every bit of power over you. That closure came unexpectedly, 6 months later. It was early fall. The leaves had turned golden, the air crisp. I was at a charity event hosted by the company. Local fundraiser, small crowd, good food. I was talking to a client when I heard a voice behind me. Lucas? I turned, and there she was again. Emily. But this time, she didn't look angry. She looked defeated. Her eyes were tired, her posture slumped. Emily, I said calmly, what are you doing here? I just wanted to see you. Please. 5 minutes. I nodded toward a quieter corner. 5 minutes. She swallowed hard. I lost my job. I heard. They said I violated trust policies. That letter from your lawyer, it was in my file. They said it made me a liability. I'm sorry that happened. I said evenly, but you brought on yourself. I know, she whispered. I know. I was angry. You moved on so easily. You got everything you wanted. I didn't get everything I wanted. I just stopped waiting for you to want it with me. Tears filled her eyes again. I keep thinking about what we could have had. The house, the life here. I'd do anything to fix it. You can't fix something you destroyed on purpose, Emily. I didn't mean to destroy it. Yeah, you did. You thought you'd win the power struggle. You thought I'd beg you to stay. But I didn't, and that broke your ego, not your heart. She looked like she'd been slapped. Do you really think I'm that shallow? I don't think, I said quietly. I know. She nodded slowly, eyes glassy. You're right. I was arrogant. I thought you'd come back. I thought you'd fail without me. And now I see you never needed me. I needed you. That's the truth, I said, standing. But it's too late. She wiped her face, then looked up at me with a broken smile. You're a good man, Lucas. I just didn't deserve you. I didn't respond. I just turned and walked away. That night, when I got home, I poured a drink and stood by the window. The moonlight hit the lake behind my house, soft and quiet. I thought about everything. The years we spent, the fights, the betrayal, the noise, and then I realized I wasn't angry anymore. Just done. A week later, I posted something on Reddit. Title: My ex said if I left, we were done. So I left, and built a life she could only dream of. It blew up. Thousands of comments. People telling their own stories, cheering for me, sharing that they'd been through the same thing. It felt good, not because of the karma, but because I'd finally told my truth. Not her version, not the twisted one, mine. A few months later, I met someone new. Her name was Sophie. Local photographer, smart, grounded, nothing like Emily. She didn't care about titles or money. She cared about who I was when no one was watching. We took things slow. She met my team, came to company events, even joined me on business trips. Everyone liked her, even Tom and Margaret, who reached out one day to apologize again. Lucas, we heard about what Emily did, Margaret said on the phone. We just wanted to say you didn't deserve that. You always treated her well. Thank you, I said gently. It's all in the past now. Good, she said. We're happy for you. That call closed the last open door for my old life. 6 months after that, Sophie and I were sitting by the same cafe where I told Emily goodbye. The owner came over, smiling. You're the couple from the tech company, right? Yeah, I said, smiling back. He nodded. You two look good together. I've seen a lot of stories play out in this town. Yours looks like a happy one. Sophie laughed softly, squeezing my hand. So far, so good. And I realized revenge doesn't always look like fireworks. Sometimes it's peace. The kind that drives your ex crazy because they can't touch it, can't ruin it, can't be part of it. That was my revenge. Not destroying her life. Just living mine better than she ever imagined. A year after I left Chicago, my life didn't look anything like I'd imagined. It was better. The small house I bought became a home. My mornings started with coffee on the porch, watching the sunrise over the trees, and evenings ended with laughter, not arguments. Sophie had moved in by then. She turned the spare room into a small studio where she did her photography work, and somehow the house felt warmer because of it. My company thrived. Our division hit record profits, and the CEO called to offer me a promotion. Senior Executive Director of Product Development. It came with equity and a six-figure bonus. The kind of offer that would have once made Emily beam with pride. Maybe post about it online. But I didn't even tell anyone outside work for a week. Success had stopped being something I needed to prove. It had become something I quietly lived. Then one day, while checking my mail, I found an envelope addressed in handwriting I hadn't seen in months. Emily. For a moment, I considered tossing unopened, but curiosity got the better of me. Inside was a letter, handwritten, shaky, and longer than I expected. Lucas, I know I'm the last person you want to hear from. You have no reason to trust me, but I wanted you to know the truth. After I lost my job, things spiraled fast. My friends distanced themselves. My parents stopped bailing me out. I had to sell the condo. I moved back in with my mom for a while, which was humiliating. I spent months angry at you, but deep down I was angry at myself. You offered me everything, and I chose pride. I thought I was too good for your path, too independent to follow. But I see now I was never independent. I was entitled. You were building a life. I was just maintaining an image. I know you'll never forgive me, but I needed to say it. You were the best thing that ever happened to me, and I ruined it. I hope you're happy. I really do. Emily. I sat with that letter for a long time. It didn't spark anger or nostalgia, just closure. She finally said the one thing I'd waited to hear for years, that she knew she was wrong. I didn't reply. There was nothing left to say. Some apologies are meant to end the story, not restart it. That winter, Sophie and I went to Chicago for a business conference. Funny how full circle life can be. Same city, same skyline, completely different chapter. After my panel, we walked around the city, grabbed coffee from one of my old haunts, and passed by the restaurant where Emily and I used to celebrate anniversaries. I glanced through the window. Same decor, same wine glasses, same piano music, but everything else felt smaller. Like my old life had shrunk behind glass. Was this one of your spots? Sophie asked, reading my face. Yeah, I said quietly. Used to come here a lot. Want to go in? No, I smiled. I've had that dinner already. We walked on, hand in hand, while the snow started to fall. That moment hit me harder than I expected. The realization that peace doesn't come from revenge or validation. It comes from finally losing interest in the things that used to break you. Still, karma has a strange way of finishing stories. Months later, Jessica, the mutual friend who had once defended Emily, messaged me out of the blue. Hey, Lucas. Hope you're doing great. Random update. Emily's working at a marketing agency in Naperville now. Or was. Heard it shut down last month. She's trying to start something new on her own, but it's not going well. Just thought you'd want to know. She mentioned you once. Said you turned out better than she ever imagined. I didn't reply. Not because I didn't care, but because I finally didn't need to. Sophie and I eventually got engaged. We kept it simple, just us, close friends, family. No drama, no grand spectacle. When I told my mom, she cried happy tears. When I told my team, they cheered like I'd won an award. Tom and Margaret, surprisingly, sent a handwritten card. Congratulations, Lucas. We're truly happy for you. We wish our daughter had valued what you gave her. You deserve all the happiness in the world. The Carters. That one meant more than they probably realized. The wedding was small, under the old oak tree behind our house, with fairy lights and live acoustic music. Nothing flashy, nothing loud, just real. After everyone left, Sophie and I sat outside barefoot with a bottle of champagne. I said. I stopped letting it rent space in my head. She smiled. You ever think about her? Sometimes. I admitted, but not the way I used to. She's not the villain anymore. Just a lesson. Sophie nodded softly. You think she regrets it? I know she does. But regret doesn't fix what pride destroys. A few weeks later, someone on Reddit tagged me in a post on our /true OffMyChest. Title: I lost the best man I ever had because I couldn't stand not being in control. I clicked it out of curiosity, and there it was, Emily's writing. The The tone, the details, even the timeline. She never used my name, but anyone who knew us would have recognized it. She wrote about her guilt, how she realized too late that success didn't matter if it came at the cost of respect, how she tried to manipulate the one man who truly loved her, and how it ended up destroying her own career instead. It was honest, painfully so. People flooded the comments, some forgiving, some harsh. But what caught me most was the top comment. Sounds like he didn't get revenge. He just got better. That's the real win. I smiled. They were right. That night, I logged off Reddit and sat outside again, watching the stars. Sophie joined me, wrapped in a blanket. "What's on your mind?" she asked. "Just thinking how different my life turned out," I said. She leaned her head on my shoulder. "Different bad or different good?" "Different perfect," I said. She smiled and whispered, "Then don't look back." And I didn't. Years later, when people ask how I built my life, the company, the success, the peace, I tell them it started with loss. That sometimes the best thing that can happen is someone walking away because it forces you to walk towards something better. Emily's name doesn't come up anymore. Her chapter closed quietly, without fireworks. But every once in a while, I still get an email from someone who read that Reddit post, the one I wrote, saying it gave them courage to leave their own toxic relationship or take the job or stop apologizing for wanting more. That's the real revenge story. Turning your pain into someone else's strength. So if there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Revenge isn't about getting even. It's about getting ahead and doing it so quietly that the people who doubted you can only watch from a distance. And when they finally realize they can't reach you anymore, that's when you've truly won.